Good morning you guys, it's Karen and I am here to talk about this foundation, the No7 Protect and Perfect. And I've got my notes here in case you see me looking down. I have worn this for 4 days. I've got it on today. This is the 5th day, I think, 4th or 5th day that I've been wearing it, just to make sure that I'd given it a proper trial in kind of all conditions, if you like, because it's one thing if makeup stays on while you're just sitting at home, not doing very much, and it's quite another if it stays on when you're out and about doing things and running around, you know. I'm afraid I'm not great at doing those videos whereby I come and show you how it's doing through the day or at the end of the day even. And what I used to do when I was doing foundation reviews was say to you, I'll show you how it looks at the end of the day. Then I would forget. Then I'd forget to use the same foundation the following day, and it would go on like that. And then I'd have the footage sitting there without the thing that I'd promised. So nowadays I just tell you how it looks. And if I ever do remember to do a little video of how it looks at the end of the day, then I will put it in, or a photo or something. But this is £17 and it is the No7 Protect and Perfect Advanced All-in-One Foundation. So obviously it's based on their Protect and Perfect serum that everybody loves. There are 14 colours available in this, and the coverage I would say is medium. They call it a buildable foundation, and it definitely is buildable, but I don't feel like it's ever full coverage. You know, I have tried putting 2 layers on and it does definitely build, but it still to me is medium coverage. It's not a full coverage foundation, which is fine. It's not one that is like, it doesn't dry down instantly. You have got time to blend it, but it does finish down to a kind of, probably I'd say, a satin finish, and it lasted really well. I did check in the mirror a few times over the 4 days that I've been wearing it, and every time I had a look, even at the end of the day, it looked pretty much the same as I'd put it on. It didn't do the things that foundations do on me when they don't last, is they either just sink into my skin and the area becomes oily, and it didn't do that at all. I mean, I kept thinking, has it? But I noticed the following day it hasn't, because I could see more of my freckles using this foundation, and that's why I'm saying medium coverage. That and the fact that I've got a big red spot here that is very, very obvious, and normally foundation would mostly cover that, and I would add in a tiny bit of concealer, but the foundation didn't cover this at all. I had to use concealer. So yeah, it hadn't sunk into my face or disappeared, or there wasn't like oily patches that had broken through the foundation, and it hadn't sat in any lines. You know, sometimes it can accentuate my nose to mouth lines, or I've got this line in my chin here that goes from one side to the other, and it hadn't sunk into that at all. So yeah, lasted really well. So let me tell you what their claims are, and I can tell you what I think of those claims, and then I will of course talk about ingredients. So there's a lot that they say about it, so I'll just kind of pick some sentences out. So they say that it's a multitasking buildable coverage foundation. I would say that that's true, it is buildable. Blurs fine lines and pores for an instantly flawless finish. I didn't find that it blurred fine lines and pores. My pores are not too bad at the moment, but I didn't find that it accentuated them. So, you know, there's something in that. Like, it definitely, I think foundation in general, for example, I don't have my crow's feet done. You remember I used to have Botox, and I used to have up here done, and I used to also have my crow's feet done, and I haven't had my crow's feet done for over 2 years now. And I noticed how bad they were the other day, but then I thought they don't look as bad without foundation on. But with this foundation, they look about the same. I don't feel like it blurs them, but it doesn't make them look any worse. And like I said, generally foundation to me, especially full coverage foundation, will make your lines look worse. It says it's powered by our age-defying skincare technology from the Protect and Perfect serum with Matrixyl 3000. I'll talk about that in the ingredients. It's enriched with skin-loving ingredients, which it is. Over time, the appearance of fine lines, wrinkles and pores appear reduced. I do not believe that this foundation will do anything like that. I don't believe that this will have any effect on your fine lines and wrinkles, etc. But again, I'll talk about that in the ingredients. It's got an SPF in it, and antioxidants protect the skin from UVA and UVB. It's explaining here that it's got optical blurring particles and a flexible polymer film that sits over lines, flexing and stretching with every facial movement for a smooth, flawless finish. That does seem to be the case. Suitable for sensitive skin. Yeah, I don't see why not. Hasn't got fragrance in it. So I did find it a lovely foundation, but let's talk about the ingredients. The ingredients, one of the things that they're saying is that it has their Matrixyl 3000 in it, and it's based upon their serum that everybody loves, and Matrixyl 3000 is a peptide. Matrixyl 3000 is number 42 on the ingredient list, so that's why I'm saying that even if I did believe that Matrixyl would do anything wonderful, I don't believe this is concentrated enough. I don't know, I can't remember with the Protect and Perfect serum whether they tell you the percentage that's in that. I've said in the lime perfector, the number 7 lime perfector video that I did, that if you want to use Matrixyl, there are 2 from the Ordinary that to me are better value for money, because they give you the percentage, they don't have anything extra in them, they're just highly concentrated Matrixyl, different types of Matrixyl, but you know, there's Buffet, there's the Matrixyl on its own, etc, etc. Different types of peptide, I should say, not, there are different types of Matrixyl, but it's mostly different types of peptides in the Ordinary serums. And so for it to be so low on the list in this foundation, I think there's even less chance of it doing anything skincare wise. You know, I think that it's a foundation, and they're only using the Protect and Perfect because that was one that for some reason kind of blew up, and it was in the papers and everything, wasn't it? And so they're using that, the fact that people loved that, to advertise this foundation. They talk about there being antioxidants in here, but again, it's kind of, they've got ascorbyl glucoside, which is a vitamin C derivative, and it is about halfway down the ingredient list. So again, not a very potent formula, but it's there, and the foundation doesn't feel drying. It feels like it would be one that would be pretty good for most skin types. It doesn't, like, I don't think it would specifically be good for oily skin or specifically be good for dry skin. I do think this is one that would probably suit most people. What else about the ingredients have I written here? The SPF 50 is octinoxate, so you guys know that that's one that I would try to avoid. And actually, it's with SPF in foundation, I'm beginning to think that it's not really, it's kind of pointless, because you can't really put enough foundation on to get enough cover. I mean, you know, you'd have to put a lot of it on, and you don't really want to be doing that with foundation. And also, you know, I don't know about you guys, but for me, when I put my SPF on my face, I take it down my neck as well, which is why I prefer an untinted one. And so adding in an extra SPF, I suppose you are getting a little bit extra protection, but I feel like it's fairly pointless. I used to love that. I used to think, oh, right, okay, I'm getting extra protection from my foundation, you know, but now I just think that's kind of pointless, especially when they're using a chemical like octinoxate. The other thing about this is they've not just used octinoxate. The octinoxate is not the only SPF. They've mixed it with titanium dioxide, and that is nano. It's listed as nanotechnology, so that's another kind of small downside, if you like. The other ingredient that's in this is retinol palmitate, and this is one that number 7 seems to enjoy using retinol palmitate in things that are to be used in the day, and I don't really understand that, because I know some of you are also trying to avoid this because there is evidence showing that it can cause not only irritation but cancerous changes, basically. And yes, we need more evidence, and as I always say, there's lots of other things to worry about. It's just deciding whether or not that's something you want to avoid or not. But certainly I wouldn't want to use it. I would use retinol palmitate in a foundation in the winter if I bought it and want to use it up. So I've got their other moisturising foundation, they're Hydroluminous, and I will use it throughout the winter. And probably the same with this, but I wouldn't use it if I was going out in the sun. Because retinol palmitate on its own is fine, it's just when it's exposed to UV light that there's a problem. That's all I've written down for ingredients, but for me that's enough to know that it isn't a foundation that I would repurchase. But if you don't care about the nanotechnology, you don't care about the chemical sunscreen, you don't care about the retinol palmitate, which I know, you know, there are people that are not worried about that, that's absolutely fine. I think it's a lovely foundation. It's really, really nice. It's particularly nice as a kind of daily foundation because it's not full coverage. And if you are a mature lady like myself, I keep getting asked my age actually, so I'm 47. I turned 47 in June, just gone. Then you'll know that, like I said, the foundation can sometimes not be flattering, but this one is flattering as far as fine lines and pores, etc. are concerned. So I would recommend it from that point of view. £17 isn't a bad price at all. They do amazing deals. I got an amazing deal again on this. I got 2 other makeup items that I'll be showing in the haul that I'm going to film next, and I think I got 3 for 2, and then I used a £10 off voucher as well. So there's really good deals to be had with number 7. If you keep an eye on things or ask the number 7 rep, there's normally a number 7 rep in Boots that's very helpful. That's everything to tell you, I think. So not a repurchase for me because of the ingredients, but I do think it's a lovely foundation. So let me know what you think if you've tried it. I've heard one opinion, which was that she loved it, that it went on smoothly, stayed on well, and she was really enjoying it. I think that was on Instagram. You know what foundation I've got on? On my eyes, I've got the Anastasia Norvina palette. On my cheeks, I've got the Bare Minerals in that peach though, and on my lips, the Stila liquid lipstick in caramello. I really need to change my blushes and lipsticks, don't I, in my makeup bag, because I'm always saying the same thing again. That's everything. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you again.